So I know this Chinese guy, right? We used to work together at McKinnon Transport, and he has a Volvo with the Cummins engine, but I think his Volvo is 07. And he just likes his Cummins. He says would never get a Volvo, but his next truck, if he ever gets a new truck, will be a Freightliner. So that's the guy. Now we left, a bunch of us left McKinnon back in 2010 or 2009 because they started doing poorly, and then later they went into bankruptcy. And it was a pretty decent company in Guelph, Ontario. And he knows one guy, this Mark, the Chinese guy, he knows one guy who, when I went to Landstar, this guy became independent. So he got his own authority. He has an old Freightliner, and he has a step deck tandem axle trailer. And he signed up for this LoadLink, that very expensive Canadian load board I was talking about. It's $600 a month. But that's the only load board in Canada. Like you can sign up for DAT or 360 or whatever, Trucker's Edge, but those are only good for US, like loads inside US. They don't have too many loads from US to Canada, or especially Canada to US. So now this Mark says you should talk to this guy, because I'm thinking about this, my own authority. This guy has been doing this for 2 years. And so Mark texted me his phone number, and I just spent maybe half an hour on the phone with this guy. And actually he's from Eastern Europe too. Speaks very good English, probably my age. But his name is Jack. So, but anyway, so from what I understand, I just wanted to share this with my viewers, especially if you are a Canadian. I don't think he's doing too well. He said very often he has to go empty into US because there's hardly any loads from Ontario, because he's from Ontario too. There's hardly any loads from Ontario to US. So now I'm listening to this, and it's like, it sounds so familiar. And I said, wait a second. That's why I want to get my own authority, because I'm tired of doing the same shit basically at Landstar. They don't have enough Canadian loads, but the rates from US are excellent. And I can go into, I don't know, even Philadelphia, PA, or South Carolina, or something, or Kentucky. I can bring back a load that pays $2,000, like $3 per mile. But that's what he's doing. I said, so wait a second, so you're paying $600 a month for the load board, and they don't have enough loads for Canadians trying to get into US. He says, no, they don't have enough loads. So then I don't see a point in doing that just to work on the load board. And I can bring loads out of US even with Landstar, no matter what, Of course, he would, if I were independent, I would keep more money, because this way Landstar takes, a big chunk out of my revenue. But what I don't like is that this LoadLink or 360, whatever, all their loads, they don't give you prices. You see a load, you see the information who to call, but there's no pricing info. And so you have to call each and every load that you like to find out at least what it pays. So at least on the Landstar board, I see all the prices. I can pass the loads that are too cheap, And I told this guy about U-Ship. I said, you ever tried working on U-Ship? And he says, what's that? YouTube? No. I said, no, U-Ship. It's auction site where you bid for loads. And I said, now they're the preferred shipment partner for Ritchie Brothers. And those guys are big now in Canada as well, so they have shipments coming out of Canada, going to other parts of Canada. Of course, the only problem is that loads don't pay too well because everybody tries to underbid each other, right? Because it's an auction, but kind of in reverse. The guy that puts in the lowest price wins, you know. So it's not, you're not gonna make $1 million on it, but you know, if you have a specialized equipment like maybe a low boy or a step deck with you know, with ramps, maybe it can work. And now this guy, I said, what do you think is the best trailer? And he says, I think triaxle step deck, the same one I'm getting. He said, I think that one is better because he's losing some loads. Like he cannot take lots of loads to Western Canada because over there they want 3-axle trailers. So now he's trying to switch from his tandem step deck to a triaxle step deck. And I said, maybe you should have a couple of trailers, you know, just get a used maybe flat or something, or better yet, use the low boy, like, you know, IGN, just to kind of vary your, you know, your load criteria, because right now he can only do step deck. So I don't know, I was expecting a bit more. I thought the guy would be, you know, like really happy. Well, he says he likes freedom, but unfortunately he didn't sound like he was making a lot of money. So I think if we were Americans, we would be doing much better because we could do loads inside US, but being Canadians, we always have to look for loads going across the border, you know. And there's a lot of big companies here, like, you know, Challenger, you know, Bison, Schneider, and those guys have all the big contracts. So that's why there's not that so many loads on the Canadian load board, because all these big players, they have them. So if they cannot cover a load, you know, let's say all their trucks are booked, maybe then they will put it on the board. And of course, you're not going to get a good price. It'll be like, you know, $2 per mile or whatever. So I don't know. That's something new I learned today. So at least from the standpoint of a Canadian independent, not all is gold that shines. I ended the day in Perrysburg, Ohio. This is a Petro truck stop. And there's a Flying J, there's a TA here, and usually I go to the TA because it's right there, right at the exit from the tollway. But I called these guys on the phone yesterday asking about clutch adjustment, you know, because I tried to do it yesterday. I was doing a grease at the Flying J in Black River Falls. They greased the truck. And they also installed that relay that I bought a while back. And actually this morning when I was studying during this day, I noticed still like 2 times there was a hesitation. When I turned the key, still there is somewhere there is a short. So I don't know. So grounding points were cleaned, right? Terminals on the battery cleaned. New starter, new starter relay on the firewall. So it's either a bad cable somewhere. Like one guy suggested, you know, there's a cable going to the ground from the starter, can be corroded inside and you cannot see it. So I think it's either that one, or even though everybody says it's unlikely, like the mechanics, the ignition. Because it's still not as bad as before, because remember I even was shut down for like a couple of hours. I couldn't start the truck at all, right? So back then I had a really bad short. Now I just have an occasional slight, but it's still somewhere there. It's still the cause is still there. But anyway, and the other thing, of course, is the clutch. It's been wearing me, not just the noise. I don't care about the noise, but you know, that metal on metal thing. I'm worried that I might lose it, you know. And this guy that was doing the grease, he looked. I said, "Can you adjust my clutch?" And he looked at it and he says, "Oh yeah, it's definitely out of adjustment." He checked from the bottom, from the pit. And I said, well, it's a LIPE. Can you do it? And he looked at it and he says, no, I'm not gonna touch it. He says it's a liability issue. So I called these guys, Petro, yesterday. I said, can you adjust the clutch? I even printed out instructions from the LIPE website. Actually, the manufacturer is called Setco, S-E-T-C-O, Setco. And I printed it out, and I even have a video. Again, that they made a video specifically for this, how to install and adjust the clutch, and everything is, you know, simple. And these guys on the phone said, oh yeah, our mechanics will usually, you know, they adjust them all the time. So I said, so you sure, right? Especially if I have a diagram and full description how to do it. Oh yeah, okay, bring your truck over. So now I go over there, and one guy says, oh yeah, they adjust them all the time. But turns out that guy is not a mechanic. He's just kind of some kind of a helper. Then the actual mechanic comes in and he says, no, we cannot do it. If it's too much free play, he says, what do you want to do? I said, well, there's free play, right? There's that's why it's called manually adjustable clutch. I just wanted to make it tighter. No, we're not going to touch it. If it's too much free play, something's wrong with it. I know. I said, I already have like everything. Like the only tool you guys need is it looks like a screwdriver. Oh, basically it's a metal rod, kind of like a screwdriver without a handle, right? And the end is sharp. Both edges are sharp at an angle, so that you can basically turn, you know, use it to turn those nuts. There's like two nuts with special spots where you can put the rod, so you turn them. And one nut is actually just a holding nut, and the other one adjusts the free play. You know, I could probably do it myself, but I wouldn't even, you know which way to turn. Like, you know, it's better to trust this to a mechanic. But these guys just, you know, I think they just do like stupid stuff, you know, like replacing mud flaps, fixing tires, you know. And today's now it's the weekend, so all the actual serious truck repair shops are closed. But now I think I'll have to do it in Canada. I know there's a shop in close to where I park my truck, and those guys don't charge too much. Like, their rate is very reasonable. And also I'm gonna adjust the clutch, and also I think I will replace that linkage. Like Kat said, one part in the linkage between the clutch pedal and the clutch itself was badly worn out. You know, so something where it connects to the fork on the transmission. You know, I'm not a mechanic, but I think it's serious, so I better replace that. So when I'm back in Canada, I'm gonna go to those guys and ask them to adjust the clutch and fix the linkage. So hopefully that will take care of that squeaking. And one more thing, I already found a load. I'm delivering this in Pennsylvania, right? And one guy that saw my YouTube video said he had this forklift, right? So I called an agent at Landstar. I said, I have a customer. You know, let's do it through Landstar, of course. You know, I don't have my own authority. And we did all the paperwork, so it's all approved. So now as soon as I unload this boom, I'm gonna drive over to Perrysburg, Pennsylvania, pick up that forklift, just 15,000 pounds, and deliver to Ontario, not too far from my parking area. And then it's time to go and finally get my new step deck. Thanks for watching. Be safe.